and welcome to Flashback. The games you loved, the stories you forgot. This is episode 14 and we are in September 1998 and it's me, RGT, and I am joined by the D-pad destroyer, the single player supremo, the menacer master. It is UCP George. How you doing, George?
I am built out of light gun peripherals,
Mm-hmm.
and I present myself to you as such.
Yep.
I have Super Scope add-ons for eyes. I'm
Yep.
good. I'm ready to hit the road and talk about 1998 and all of its really late 90s glory. Britpop's in the air.
Mm.
I was burning down the back streets in a A-Reg Nova with a
Cherry bomb.
diarrhea brown interior. Cherry bomb exhaust. I didn't have the guts to put that on, but I did slap a 1.4 in it. Oh yeah, I did. I got racy.
Oh,
Yeah, because I
yeah.
blew me 1.2 up, threshing it 5 up. Back road. Engine was never going to last, was it? Really, fully loaded like that.
Mm.
But yeah, these were good times. These were simple times. These were
Mm.
times of waking up on a Saturday morning, picking up the D-pad and picking up the pad and just cracking on with your latest favourite game.
Yeah.
I was
If,
a N64 guy in this moment, I think, from memory. So,
mhm.
yeah, very exciting times.
Yeah, there was plenty of games about, and as we'll get into in a moment, if you're new to the show, our format is we'll be looking at what we would have been playing in September '98, what games we probably would have had from the previous couple of months. We'll do a bit of news that's about at the time from the magazines or early internet that was about, and we'll finish up what we would have been hoping to play or hoping to purchase with our paper round money at the time. Um, some interesting games that we probably would have been playing at the time. And I think because I think this is where I first just started the job that I am still in, 97, 98. So I was then starting to actually earn some decent money. But I still remember two or three of these games are games I put hours in. Now I'll start with Tiger Woods 99 Pro Tour Golf on the
Mm.
PlayStation. Now, this is my
May I
first.
ask,
Yes.
is this the first one that was a bit kind of? I think I had one on the PlayStation. It was what I would call a little bit kind of ridiculous, where it was like hitting the balls and they'd go on fire all the time. And was it a
No,
bit more arcadey?
no, this was arcade, but I don't think it was down them levels. What I always remember of this was you used to start, right? This is EA, and you'd start, and that'd have a vintage golf video at the start, and that'd say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is how we used to play golf with plus fours and blah blah blah." And then we go, "That's not how we do it." And then you got Tiger Woods smashing it down the fairway, and and they try and make golf really cool. And but I remember actually because if you'd gone from sort of actual golf or the earlier PGA games, and you come to this actually looked really good on original PlayStation. And I mean, me and you in the last few years have played actual golf. I mean, you need reactions of a sniper to try and hit that ball correctly because
You
that
do.
goes. But on
Yeah.
this, it was slowed down a bit more. You had sort of a top-down view of Tiger, and he swang like swung the club,
I
and
think you swing
yeah.
RGT, but he
I
swung in
swang,
that
swung, and
moment.
swing. So, but I just remember going from actual golf to going to this, thinking, "Oh, this does look very good compared to that. This actually looks really decent golf game, and it sort of simplified controls a bit more, but actually improved graphics a lot
Did you
more.
not set the ball on fire if you got it perfect?
Maybe, I mean, I remember that in the
I just remember
PS2
coming to it
ones.
from two. I had 2004 on the PS2, I think, and I was like, "Oh,
Mm,
yes, it's proper big boy simulation golf. I'm a proper gamer. Look at me." And so I got it for the PS1 for while
mm.
I was away, and I distinctly remember loading up a Tiger Woods being, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was different. And the only time I remember the ball being on fire, I mean, you might be right. I can remember it with everybody's golf used to be able to do that and used to do the backspin. That used to leave a scorch mark on the
Maybe
green.
as I have
But I
done
think you might be
recently,
right.
I might have misremembered it because I've gone away and sat down and thought, "What did I?" And I've Googled it. And gone, no, that didn't happen.
But this is sort
So
of, I think, from that generation, one of the sort of first golf games I really remember. Oh, actually, you can really play this. Whereas the other ones were just you'd have the odd round here and there because they were a bit complicated, a bit of a laugh. Whereas this one, you could actually think, oh, hang on, I can go around under par on here. I can actually do a
mm.
good score. And that was the first time. And then, because after then, I was always buying the Tiger Woods games. I don't know if I bought them yearly, but I bought them regularly enough. Um,
It
Another
was a shot
one.
in the arm it needed.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And they did, for love them or hate them, EA, there were certain franchises they did take and make popular and make them playable, and golf being one of them. They really took it to another level, I think, with
Agree.
the golf games. Um, Another one I was looking at on here, which now I thought I had, but I couldn't see it in my collection. Which I hope I have still got in storage because it's quite an expensive game now, which
Come
it
on.
wasn't when I bought it, but
Share,
that
share.
that was Future Cop, LAPD. Um,
Where's that on the list?
it's on there somewhere, I think. Well, have I imagined that? I'm sure it's. I say it's Future Cop, LAPD, August 31st, 1998. Now I've got it, and I've seen loads of videos on this, and it's always looked good. That sort of isometric, top-down view. It was an EA game again, so they done really well
Hmm.
with that. And I always remember, I don't know why it was. I'm sure I remember it being around the same time as Colony Wars and that sort of thing, and that was that set in 2098, and you had sort of a mech that could either put it in
Yeah.
chase, you could put it in chase mode, or you could put it in like combat mode, right? Sort of stood up, and then you could fight out the battles. It still looks really good graphically for the genre. Really, really good game. But like I say, it surprised me because I always thought I had it. I haven't got it on the shelves. I think I've got it. I must have it in storage somewhere. But then I just checked on CX and it goes for like 65 quid on there. And I'm
Does
like,
it
yeah,
really?
it does. Yeah.
It's a good
That,
job you told me it was a good game. That's slightly with the quality holds. Has no
yeah.
respect.
I'm sure you must have that. And yeah, I think that's a bit of a
Don't
stalwart
think
for the
I have, to
PS1.
be honest. I only pick up PS1 games that I have like nostalgia for. Like I grabbed
Fair play, yeah.
Transport Tycoon the other day because I thought, yeah, I ain't got that on anything, and I quite like the fact that you
Mm.
can have like boats, trains, trucks,
Oh, that's cool.
some other form of transport I've obviously forgotten. No, so I don't have that. One thing I did have at the time, and I think you maybe had it because I think everybody had it at some point in time, sort of wanting a militaristic shooter of some kind, is Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Now, I had what can only be described as it wasn't the PC version. No, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Mhm.
No, I had the N64 version with the expansion pack, and on
Oh, I didn't
often,
realise that was on the N64.
oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it's stripped bare, but it's there.
Because I think it was quite groundbreaking, wasn't it, the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six games at the time? I think they'd done something a bit different, didn't they? Did you control your squad or something? And
I can't really remember it. It was one of those games that I think I maybe picked up right towards the end. I remember cousin Matthew had this, and with the expansion pack, it didn't look half bad, but there was like times where if you had like night vision goggles on, I think there was a lamp with a load of mozzies buzzing round it that you looked at, and it looked you could convince yourself. Obviously, night vision is the cover of many sins.
hmm
That this was a pretty sexy looking game. It certainly made you feel like your expansion pack was worth it, kind of, maybe. But I can't remember the shooting being terribly amazing, to be honest with you. The whole game felt a bit of a compromise getting it on there. In terms of other things, there's Jimmy White's cue ball. I don't know what format that's on. I think you said let's not, but it must have come out on something at this point. Now,
Yeah, I think it mostly, especially over here, it was back 99 it came out, because I know it came out on Dreamcast.
I, I, I think it probably came out on PC before.
Maybe,
Don't
yeah.
forget the Dreamcast was a it was a big PC port machine,
It was, yeah.
and I quite enjoyed that game. Found it a pretty decent round of snooker. I always, you know what I want though, don't you? If I'm
What?
honest with you, I don't know if this is the actual sequel to the OG or whether there was another one that this is a sequel to, but the one that was on Atari ST and Amiga, mate.
Whirlwind. Jimmy White's Whirlwind. I played that to death on my Amiga. What a
Let's
great game that was.
let's give it its props. I'm sure we'll do it one day, but if we're going to bring up this guy and we're going to talk about snooker game, we have to talk about the
Mm,
OG. That moment when someone in the school said to me, "Oh, if you don't like do anything with the balls, like the red balls, like do a little funny face at you," and I was like, "Nah, no, they don't. It's a simulation game. That wouldn't happen in there. That's ridiculous." Go home, playing my Jimmy White's pirate, may I add? Yeah, yeah. I don't mind sailing the seven seas back in the day. I do
mm,
now, but back then, hoist Jolly Roger, my friend. And I thought, no, all right, I'll prove him. I'll show him. Left the mouse alone within seconds.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right, it does it. But that game, mate, the way you position the shots, the way you had to chalk the cue, I think from
Oh
memory,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Add the spin.
add the spin,
It
gauge the
was
shots, the
proper
way the ball
snooker.
shot. I quite liked that it was in, and this improved on the later versions. This cue ball one that we should be talking about.
Mm,
You know, they gave you like a room to play it in. This one, I don't know what it's like on Amiga, but on Atari ST, it was just literally this snooker table just floating in the black abyss of nowhere.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
yeah, it was, and I think it was just because they were doing that sort of pseudo 3D. It was just too much to put a room around it as
Yeah,
well.
and the physics was
Yeah, yeah, brilliant.
absolutely
Because
brilliant.
we I was right into my snooker and pool at the time, so me and my mates who had Amigas, we all had this, and we used to play this to death. Whirlwind. It was just, because we were like, oh, this is so realistic. Graphics are never going to get any better than this. Seeing that 3D world, a bit like when you played Jeff Crammon's F1. Just that 3D world being brought to you on your computer. Oh, Mega Drive in doing this. That was that
Well,
sort
there were a
of.
few games that I sort of had, like that I used to sort of sit the boxes are fabulous. There was, did I have Jimmy White's in the end? I need to check in the loft. Maybe I did have a copy of it. I don't know. Maybe I did. But like F1, that's like the pinnacle. That's not being bettered on anything else, and I'd have that on my shelf. I was like, yeah, F19, that's the pinnacle. That's not really being bettered anywhere else. Jimmy White's, that's the pinnacle. That's not really being bettered anywhere else. And you had these like, this is where I now in retro. This is like counselling flashback for me. Silent Strike, box perfect, nothing better. Is this why I'm a simulation weirdo now as an adult? Is this why I lean to and look for these games that have like the simulation edge to them, like
May well
U-Boat,
be
maybe
because
Voyager?
you always found back in the day the simulation games, if you went for sort of the flying games, some of them were so overcomplicated, they was too hard to do. But then you really wanted that realism. There's nowadays on modern consoles, they can sort of give you that, like Microsoft Flight Simulator. So you get the simulation
Yeah,
and it's doable, but you don't need to have, a plane license to actually do it. But as in the day, I mean, I remember my brother-in-law was telling me a story the other day. I know I'm going a bit off piece, but he had a Commodore
no,
64 and his dad actually built his dad used to love the flight simulators, and he built a full cockpit out of cardboard with the windows. He'd made his own for the keyboard, everything marked up. And there he goes, transatlantic flight on his Commodore 64. Where he went, that was his cardboard proper cockpit.
and he
And
had a
he,
wife.
yeah.
So he
So it
made
was,
that for his kid, or the dad made that for
oh
himself.
no, for himself. I think my brother-in-law was probably the co-pilot. So, you know, I
Can you?
just think you had to be well into the flight sims at the time and the simulation games to be into them. So I think that's probably why you liked simulations back in the day, and now you're all over them. Now you're ten a
Thing
piece
is, I
nowadays.
wouldn't, I wouldn't go out there. I wouldn't look for anything heavier than Microsoft Flight Simulator, if I'm honest with you. I wouldn't, and I still have sort of resisted downloading that because I'm kind of waiting for that VR pop. Um, I wouldn't, U-boats the closest I've come. But then
Mm,
again, I'm playing Farming Simulator all the time.
hmm
Can't talk about that on the main show, so I'm bringing it here. Can't really talk about it here. We'll move on. What other games?
I was also looking at Spyro, um,
Hmm.
Insomniac. I mean, what a great game that was!
Yeah.
And I mean, even you know, I was. sort of 20 years old, just over 20 years old at this time, coming up for my 21st. So, Spyro wasn't a cool game to play, but then when I actually did play it, I thought, this is brilliant. 3D platformer, different using a dragon, bit of a collectathon, just a really well-made platformer game. And yes, there was quite a few of them at the time, but I think, the ones like Spyro, the ones that really stuck. It had Mario 64 as well on the N64, but there were certain games you just thought, yeah, that's been made really well. Great quality to the game and the code. And then I always thought Spyro was one of them that you could see why it ended up having a trilogy and spin-offs on
Mm.
handhelds and bits. But great game. Obviously, then had the remaster later down the line. But yeah, brilliant games. Did you ever play Spyro back in the day, or were you later to it?
No, I didn't play Spyro back in the day. I think, as I professed, I was deep in the N64
Oh,
kind of
cause yeah. Mm.
ecosystem, so I was kind of probably still deep on. I think we talked off air. I'd have been playing like 1080, GoldenEye, Mario, WCW game, probably something along those lines. I was probably playing a lot of WWF if it had come out by now. Attitude.
Hmm.
Or War is the first one, is it? Yeah, that's it. I might have been playing a lot of that. I'd been really poorly actually at this time, and I'd got an N64 as I was in like I'd been that poorly, I hadn't gamed. I'd already sold I think we talked about in a flashback a few ago, I'd sold my PlayStation 1 to get a money for a lad's holiday, very in between us. And then I hadn't replaced that until I got poorly, and as I was sort of coalescing and able to sort of sit up a bit more, I got hold of an N64 and I was playing catch up. I was like, oh wow, this is great. I've got these games and I had a glut of games to play on it. And then obviously these games kept coming out. So I was like fat, dumb and happy to be fair, mate.
Mm.
Yeah. A little bit sore, didn't really know what I was kind of getting really at the time, but I
Mm.
just kind of went in and thought, well, I had a SNES back in the day, this'll do. It's the most powerful thing 'cause it says 64 on the front, so hopefully this won't get superseded or have me laughed at. Yeah, both. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think even now, like Spyro, I mean, like we said before, that the Mega Drive Super Nintendo generation who've had the disposable income is fading away. The
Yeah.
people on the PS1s, N64s are coming into it. I mean, Spyro now is a 20, 25 pound game.
Is it really?
Yeah, and you think there's probably millions of copies of that now, but
Yeah.
it just is. That's just the way it's going now.
Bet
And
there's
obviously,
loads. I bet there's even more platinum copies of that about.
more than likely, yeah, without
Hmm.
doubt, more than likely. But yeah, Spyro was just a great series, and that's when you could really see the early signs of Insomniac, and they knew really what they were doing when they got a system. They knew how to get the
Yeah,
best out
that's
of the system.
something you make a good point there because look, they kind of built Spyro and then look where they are now, and some would probably be angry with me for this, but on the other side of the fence, I was playing things like Banjo-Kazooie and then in the end, finally
Mm,
Donkey Kong 64, which I did see as a better product. I did kind of look down my nose at kind of Spyro and Crash a little bit 'cause it was a bit
mm,
like, look at that, all its warping
mm.
textures and blah blah blah. And
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
got my expansion pack in. I'm a big boy. Look at me. And ultimately, Rare have kind of they've had moments, haven't they? That team is no longer there really anymore.
Just
So
in name in it nowadays. It's
yeah,
just a
so
name.
it's interesting to see the kind of trajectory of those two companies, both bought by two competing console manufacturers.
Very true. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
both stabled up to work on their kind of nostalgia heritage angle a little bit and then try and bring something forward into the new era,
Hmm.
which they both did and attempted. Um, but Rare kind of, yeah, you see Thieves, awesome. Grapple the Ghoulies, personal favourite of mine, but probably nobody else. Viva Pinata was a high point, but they've not really pushed the needle that much.
Mm,
Whereas
yeah.
Insomniac, I think you could argue they're pushing the needle. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Definitely. I mean, you think the hits they've had some big games and entrusted with big games as well, and trusted with big IPs.
Hmm.
So, yeah, Rare was, I don't know, it seemed to be weird. They sort of, I think the core of them was gone, and Then they sort of spent years doing Sea of Thieves, which struggled for the first few years, but now it's quite popular, and that's all a bit mismatch.
They kind
Whereas,
of got stripped out and became a little bit of a Skunk Works, kind of a Peter Molyneux toy for a
mm,
while, didn't they? Where they're, oh, Milo, look out, and then it's like, oh, no, and then, yeah, and then Fame, no, and all these ideas that never really came
no,
to a lot. So,
no, and a
I
shame,
don't know.
really. I think it was originally was it the Stamper Brothers had Rare started as Ultimate played a game on the Spectrum, and then
Yeah,
took it to
mate,
Rare, and
like I say, I just tied them up with that Connect garbage, so I do apologise, that wasn't them. But
no, but I mean
you
they
catch my drift, they were
when
like that.
Xbox sold them, I think they sold it to Xbox and went, we're done.
Yeah.
They've
And what did they do? Didn't they design the avatars as well? As soon as they kind of got their hands on what was left of Rare, they had them working like their
mm,
socks off, kind of doing backroom stuff. And it's like, wow, how the mighty have fallen in a way. Now
mm,
they're designing t-shirts, avatars. Like, what the frick?
yeah, from games like GoldenEye and
And
things
we
like
want a
that.
game. We don't want more avatar hairstyles from Rare. We want to see
Yeah,
something pumping out. Um, yeah, oh, we got. Didn't we get Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts on
yeah,
360 as well?
Banjo. Yeah, there was Banjo Tooie, wasn't it? Was it called Banjo Tooie, or was that on
That
N64?
was on N64,
Yeah,
Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. But yeah, so treated by Microsoft like a little bit of Skunkworks and really bit of an admin kind of team in a way, which I always thought was a bit of a mismatch.
yeah. It seems though you'd sort of buy a. Well, we've seen it recently actually, but you think if you're buying a very successful development studio, you'd have a plan for it in place before you bought them. But
Mm.
that's not really worked with all of, well, apart from Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft of late have been quite good at buying
When you
studios and
buy
not knowing
someone
what
or
to
a
do.
business, you normally insist that the people stay for a transition period. Now, I'm sure Microsoft probably even in this era were savvy enough to do that, but yeah, they left Either how we got here from Spyro, I don't know. My bad.
No,
But
no, we're
I've
just about,
retrospectively played Spyro
yeah.
and found it to be, um, to me, on PS1, probably the best 3D platformer, if I'm being
Mm.
honest. It's the one that gives you the most freedom of movement in terms
Yeah, I
of the
know a lot of
level.
people say Crash, but obviously Crash is you fix behind camera or camera from the front, whereas Spyro done that
Exactly.
more sort of open world, not open world, but open map kind of
Things
layout, which
start
you
to change up a
got to
little bit
explore more. And
yeah, by Crash 3, things are starting to free up a little bit, but it still feels very tied to that original incarnation of what Crash is. Whereas Spyro very much felt like a really good stab at, no disrespect intended, an N64 style 3D platformer, which I
yeah,
think is
definitely.
actually what it was aspiring to be able to bring across to the
Mm,
PlayStation gamers.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, Also, now the arcade version of House of the Dead 2 was out now. I think I remember playing this in the arcade, thinking, oh, that would be. And then when I heard it was coming to Dreamcast the next year, I thought,
Yeah.
oh, can you imagine having this in? Yeah, I never did end up getting a Dreamcast first time round. Now I have got it with the gun and the game. Absolutely brilliant. In my opinion, the House
What
of the
gun do
Dead.
you use? The official Dreamcast gun?
Yes, yes, that real sort of galactic looking.
The white
Um,
one.
yeah, yeah, good gun actually, really nice gun.
What I like is I think you had to put the rumble pack in it to get the rumble, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Um, and I just think the House of the Dead series were doing, that sort of zombie shooter that no one else really seemed to have been doing. I mean, I know
Yeah, it
we
was
had the
like a
Resident,
schlocky B movie style, wasn't it?
yeah,
It was quite cool.
and we spoke about this the other week. Resident Evil, they done the Survivor games where you had a gun and that, but it just wasn't House of the Dead. House of the Dead had almost own genre, and I still think maybe my favourite light gun shooters to this day. I just think they're brilliant. I mean, they've got the gore, they still hold up. I mean, we go sometimes to a retro arcade near us and they've got a House of the Dead machine,
Nostalgia
original.
will always discredit me by saying that I think Die Hard 2, Die Out the Die Hard trilogy is the best
Hmm.
light gun game ever, but do you know what? When I put my big boy head on, you're absolutely right.
And I know this is going off piece a bit. I spoke about it before, but we played the House of the Dead director's cut on the PS3 with the Move and the Move guns on a
Mm.
projector, 100-inch. I mean, what an experience. Absolutely brilliant. Few mates standing up, clear the living room, playing on a big screen, I mean, that is bringing the arcade home, and that plays so well. And even the Dreamcast, well, you think how you got an HD projector and that plays so well. It's
That's
brilliant.
bringing the arcade home,
It
baby.
is, it is. That would have been
Buckle up.
young RGT would have been dreaming of that. So yeah, I was very excited. But yeah, Haster did two great games.
Slides
So
over in a bar. Ever played House of the Dead 2 on a 100-inch screen? Slap.
drink up, you're paused.
You've already been slapped.
Also see on here, Parasite.
Glasses hanging off your face. Turn around to the boy's thumb up. I think I'm in here.
One lens out of my glasses.
Yeah.
Um, also see on here Parasite Eve. Now,
Oh,
I've never played Parasite Eve. I think
Craig,
it's
can you even get the first one over here?
not sure.
I don't think you can. I think the first Parasite Eve we were able to actually get as PAL users was Parasite Eve 2. I think then that got a follow-up in PAL territory to the PSP game called, is it Third Birthday?
I think
Am
you
I
might be.
dreaming this?
No, I think you are correct. That is just rung a bell with me. I think you might be correct on that. Yes, you are correct. It's North America and Japan. Parasite Eve came out, but I never
Yes.
played the second one either. But I think that was sort of tank control, sort of survival horror, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
Sort of
think from memory it was. And
Resident
I think
Evil
it was the
spin-off.
same
Sort of.
on PSP.
Yes, yes, because yeah, the PSP version. Always been quite interested though with that. They've obviously. Would you go as far to say a Resident Evil clone?
Uh,
Or do you think they've, I suppose, tank controls was sort of
I
this?
think you could call it survival horror without calling it a clone of anything if you want to fit it into a genre, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose that they'd seen the success of Resident Evil
Yeah.
and tried their own hand at it. But I know people speak highly of it. Like I say, I never really played it myself. But anything else
Do you
on
want me to
there?
give it a whirl on behalf of the show?
Have you got it? Have you?
Might have the sequel. I
I've yeah,
probably got the one on PSP because you know what I'm like for a
yeah.
box set on there. I've seen it cheap a long time, so I'll have a little look.
Have a little look, see what you got. Is there anything
I've
else
totally
on there?
forgotten, by the way, everything that I've got. I keep stumbling across things and being like,
I do the complete opposite. I do.
well, I
Yeah, I've
never.
got that. I'll get that off a shelf. Not there. Hmm. Was sworn I still thought I've got stuff in
Although I
storage,
did
but
that the
anyway.
other day. I went on a hunt for what? Prey?
Yeah,
hmm Went on a hunt for Psychonauts. Huh?
not
Found
there.
an old list on my phone. Yep, it did say I needed to buy that.
I obviously never did.
I obviously never did. Let me
Um,
remedy it immediately.
is there anything else on there you want to speak about there, George? Or?
No, I think that's like I say, as we finish, as we go through, there's a section in the news that I think will be my news actually, depending on how we go in this. Uh, I don't know whether it's news or what, but there's plenty for me to talk about there.
Hmm.
If that's the news, I think we're just generally a little smishing around on that one.
Yeah.
Go
Right.
for it, mate. Yeah, take us there.
Right. Well, that's now time for the news. We scoured the very darkest back pages of the gaming mags and even delved deep into the interweb to bring you what was the latest stories in September 1998. All stories this week are from EVGM. So first up, do you want me to read this one, or I better read this one because, as you can tell, he's laughing at me
No,
again.
I was looking through a gaming mag from '98 myself the other day. It was an early copy of the PlayStation magazine. And I only laughed because you said the very darkish back pages of the gaming mags, and I was just flicking through this mag.
Oh no, I can imagine what was in there.
In the last few pages, it was like, yeah. It was a bit of a
Mm.
Wild West time in the back three pages of gaming mags back then, wasn't
There was a lot of phone numbers in there that you could ring, put it that way,
it?
and
Yeah, so if
ringtones.
we've had to scan through those,
Yeah,
we've done some work, boy.
there was definitely some dark pages. I see why you were laughing there. Because yeah, researching this show, I've seen it all in the back of those pages in
Oh, mate.
magazines.
I've never seen Joe Guest in so many different different ones as different people, like bored housewife, the next one like 18-year-old. You're like, Joe Guest, 18, like down here somewhere else. Like,
Yeah,
what's going on? Just a
yeah.
page of Joe Guest as all these different people in all these different scenarios.
Oh, it's
Oh, she's got a
just
shirt off her shoulder. Oh, well, yeah, holding a phone. Yeah, what's that? Lying on a fur rug. Of course she is, yeah.
1.99 the first minute, then 19.99 every minute after that.
99.99.
Yeah. Anyway, first story is Lara Croft
Oh,
set to hit the big screen in 99. Um, she's a hit on the small screen. Some game players idolize and worship her, didn't they just? She's been on scores of magazine covers. She's not real. Yet, if you ask the average person who Lara Croft is, they probably wouldn't know. That is until next summer when Paramount releases the Tomb Raider movie. While the role of everyone's favourite buxom polygonal babe hasn't been cast yet, Paramount has already begun promoting the movie, which is scheduled to hit theatres summer 1999. Hope it doesn't open on the same weekend as episode one of Star Wars. That'll be a losing battle. The posters, which started appearing on the web and in movie theatres in June, asked the question, who is Lara Croft? Of course, we'd all like to know which actress will be playing her. For fans, the casting of Lara will make or break the movie. Sites like the Croft Times are following the movie closely, and so are we. Keep your eyes glued to videogames.com and future issues of EGM, and we'll report it the minute we know. The Tomb Raider movie is just the first of a series of movies based on video games that include Doom, Wing Commander, and the recently announced House of the Dead. And they've even got a little picture there of Nell McAndrew, if you remember her, who's the new face of Lara Croft for now. Um, but yeah, so she was doing movie posters, but obviously it ended up, as we all know, being Angelina Jolie in the movies. Yeah, it's a weird one because this that is at that time, unless you were a gamer, you wouldn't know who Lara Croft was. And reading this, I suddenly thought, God, yeah, I suppose that would have been sort of one of them early times where not many games were transferred to movies at the time. Um, and obviously you had Chris Barry in as well, in the series. But
he
you know,
carries that movie, dude. Without
oh,
him,
it's a
that movie
legend,
would
isn't
be
it?
dead.
Yes. I mean, you go back to watch because it was did they do three? Angelina Jolie and Chris Barry, was it three movies they done? I think it was, wasn't it?
Mate, I've just gone on a deep dive. I'm sorry to let you
I
down
know.
here.
I thought I'd lost you there when I was reading the story.
I wanted to see what was left of the Croft Times. What a strange time in the internet in 1998 when someone probably made this website in their bedroom and it became probably one of the most looked at websites. Closest thing I can find right now is to some dude professing to be the Croft Times on Facebook. So he's obviously got bored of trying to keep his website funded and he's moved it over to FaceCB. With 164 likes, he's pushing the upper limit of what it's all about. Apparently, some sort of Tomb Raider forums mention it there. I love that it's been cited as the hallmark of all knowledge because Lara Croft at this time was everywhere, mate. Wasn't
Mm,
she? I think we said it
mm.
before. She was on your Lucasade bottle. She's lying on a poster. She was in Loaded magazine. Getting a movie was big time.
It
What
was,
we
yeah.
what we got was a shame. I think I think, in all honesty, people like Neil McAndrew kind of knew that they were never going to be in line to,
Mm, mm.
to play it in a big movie. But yeah, it's nice to see this getting some headlines. I don't know when it came out, but I don't think it competed with Star Wars, did it? Did it?
Oof, I
Did
don't
it?
know. I mean, I can't remember if it was the first movie or second movie, but where they lost it for me was where she was deep down in the sea, lost the scuba gear, which was like, well, you're going to get the bends anyway if you're coming up that quick, but that didn't apply. And then she needed to get the surface quick, so she cuts her arm, waits for a shark to smell the blood, and as it comes, she does a quick maneuver, holds its fin, and rides it to the surface. And I'm like,
Uh,
right, I'm out. I'm out.
haven't you ever done that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Just down on the Suffolk coast, quite often grab a Dover sole and drag myself back.
I was going to go on a mad tale, but yeah, no, you're right. That's That's
Uh,
even better.
yeah, and I was just like, yeah.
Having ridden the Dover Sole yourself, though, why did you think it's so unrealistic that she would ride a shark?
Um, it was just so stupid. And the problem is, these early video game movies took the actual how unrealistic video games are and put them straight into films. There's no sort of, you need to have a little bit of realistic stuff in there because it doesn't translate very well. They literally just took actions from games, put it straight into the movies, and then you just end up people who didn't know who Lara Croft was, watch as a Tomb Raider movie, go, what the hell is
I
this?
came for dinosaurs.
Yeah, yeah, you want a T-Rex chasing you while shooting it with double handguns.
That
But
would
yeah,
work.
but I've got a funny inkling that I went to the cinema to watch this. I'm sure I went to the cinema.
Oh.
At least one of them I went to see. Um,
Was this a date scenario, do you think? Or
oh God, no, I'd have been on my own.
have
Yeah,
you've been to the cinema? I've never been to the cinema on my own. I ain't got a problem with it. I've just never done it. And I want to
twice,
know in your life twice.
twice, and this was one of them. And the other one I went to see Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood. There you go.
What moments arise where you're like, I'm off to see Lara Croft to the, but I'm good to do it on my. I mean that it's
I
a bit of
think
an.
people called off, so I went anyway. So the cinema's just down the road from me, so it's only a 2 minute
Oh,
walk. So
are you okay?
just a one ticket, please. Lee Evans line.
And
Um,
what about Gran Torino? Because you brought it to the table. Let's look at it.
I was on a training course in Ipswich, and my wife was working until 5:30. The training course finished at 2, so I needed something to do. So I wandered to the cinema and watched a film.
Man about town taking a highbrow film.
Yes, so what a great film that was, brilliant. But
Nice.
yeah. So did you watch this back in the day? Or did this is something you saw later on?
It was a film that sadly I kind of zoned out to because it was a film that was always on rotation. I was in the Navy, and that was a film that
Oh,
for
Chris,
some
yeah.
reason was always a coaster on the mess deck table. It was the DVD that was slotted down the side of the TV. It was always in the machine because there was nothing else on, and I kind of just watched through it.
Mm,
There were a few bits in it that I was like, "Wow, that looked cool." Now, many years later, I thought I'll give that Tomb Raider movie a go. I've never actually watched it, to be fair. Maybe it's all right. Thank God for Chris Barry.
yeah,
I love that guy. Glad he got
legend.
some Hollywood recognition by being in a semi-big movie by
Mm,
some level of a standard. Do you know what? He meets and exceeds what you expect from him in terms of that movie, and he he does look a bit small for it at times. I think he does,
mm,
but at other times, coming in with the this proves both my points. Coming in with the bulletproof vest on.
mm.
That's a bit of a struggle for him in both ways. But do you know what? He gets a laugh and I like it. So,
Yeah,
yeah, no
exactly. Yeah,
complaints. That's probably in two now after all this.
yeah, yeah. It was a strange time with with
I
the
recently
PlayStation,
watched
the
Resident
success.
Evil, to be fair, the first movie,
Hmm.
which is better, this Resident Evil Tomb Raider, because it's a hard line to call, that is.
Mm,
Resident Evil Saving Grace is what? The laser room?
mm,
Just. And it's not aging that well.
no, they were, and not so. I just don't think they knew how to make video games into movies at the time. So, I mean, they still struggle nowadays because it's what we play on games doesn't always translate to the big screen very well. And
We did a show about this.
yeah,
Two shows.
mm, yeah.
Heads up.
Um, so
You're like, no, don't talk about that. No, I won't.
no, no, you
I won't
can talk
mention
about
it.
that
No, I
definitely.
don't. I
Yes,
daren't. I daren't.
on unofficial troller podcast. There you go. Drop it in there. Look on the back catalogue. Download them all, please. Thank you.
Well, actually,
Thanks.
that's one of the ones that we did with Harvey Retro, who
Mm,
and Johan
mm,
and Greg, who are actually, proper film buffs.
mm.
They
They know the
actually
stuff.
know what they're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, very true. And
And they're proper gamer people.
they definitely are. And Johan and Harvey are currently playing Resident Evil Requiem as well,
I
streaming.
keep
So
seeing
yeah,
that.
brilliant. I love watching them play the game. But yeah, so Tomb Raider, interesting thing they tried to do. I think they got the PlayStation was then becoming successful. It wasn't just nerds in the bedrooms with consoles. It was getting bigger and it was in nightclubs, PlayStation, Wipeout. So they're trying to make cash in on a success. And
Mm.
I'm not sure the movie was.
It was emerging cool. I think Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, maybe you could argue more essentially, had like reached this kind of critical cultural mass where even your dad would know who she was.
Yeah,
So it's time to do a movie.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, cash in on it. And
Let's get in now because no
yeah,
one else has done it before someone else does.
yeah, yeah,
You ready for your next
definitely.
bit of news?
Yeah, what we got next then, George?
So these are all from EVGM. So this one's called Honoured. A load of people there standing holding something or other. Rare's GoldenEye received 4 awards at the first Interactive Achievement Awards ceremony held in Atlanta during E3. The game took Interactive Title of the Year, Console Game of the Year, Action Game of the Year, Console, and Outstanding Achievement in Software Engineering. Other winners included Final Fantasy VII, Adventure Game of the Year and Role Playing Game, WCW vs NWO World Tour, N64, Fighting Game of the Year, Damned Straight. Now, this is an award I can get right behind. International Superstar Soccer, Sports Game of the Year, and Parappa the Rapper Outstanding Achievement in Sound and Music and Outstanding Achievement in Interactive Design. Mouthful. As reported last month, Shigeru Miyamoto won the Hall of Fame award. Boom, so much.
And
So much
also
going on
Diddy
there.
Kong Racing got Racing Game of the Year, which is
Where's that?
Diddy Kong Racing is straight after the
I
NWO
discounted
World
it.
Tour.
Don't read it out now. There's
That's the
solid
best kart
error.
racer on the system. So um, it is, it is, it
But it's not the
is.
best racer.
No, but it's the best kart racer. It's better than Mario Kart 64.
Okay, is that a fact or is that just your opinion?
In my opinion, I think it's quite a lot of people's opinion actually. Diddy Kong
Okay.
Racing's a very, very good game, and you've got planes and boats, and you've got a little career mode in it as well. So get on that Diddy Kong. Now, I've now said that it's probably about 300 quid to buy Diddy Kong,
No,
but
it's not. Surely
no,
that's for
no,
50p car only.
I'm gonna look. I'm curious,
People
but
don't
yeah,
want it.
I added this in with
It's
being
filth.
the era you had N64.
Yes,
GoldenEye, we've got a
did.
challenge on at the moment on our challenge accepted this month
Yeah, be
on
garbage at that.
unofficial controller podcast Discord, and check out
I play
the
GoldenEye.
website.
I sneak slowly, hours, minuscule,
Put that
infinitesimal by
time in
sight.
3 hours because the challenge is you've got to do the first level as quick as you can. I think currently the top one is about 1 minute eight, something like that, which is actually quick because I think the world record is like 50 odd seconds. So they're doing well, the boys, on that. So if you want to check it out, if you're good at GoldenEye, jump on our Discord, have a go at our challenge accepted. But that's why I added this in because you could see how, everyone says now, oh, GoldenEye is one of the best N64 games, blah, blah, blah. But you can see here how good that game actually was at the time. I mean, 4 awards. Um, what did they get? They got
Well, best
title,
action game for one, which I think is a
yeah,
great thing because it's an
title of the
FPS,
year,
to be fair.
yeah,
So to pull up with that accolade, and I know a
yeah,
lot of games presented themselves like that at the time, but it's beating out your traditional sort of more third person games. I think that's a bold move,
mm,
and it's a good win, and I think it's deserving. That
yeah,
game turned up looking $1 million, no word of a lie,
yeah,
and definitely looking like something that couldn't have happened on the PlayStation, and that's a
mm,
fact. And that's why it shifted consoles and it moved the needle for it for Nintendo in the UK. I can definitely say it did.
mm,
The golden joystick had a little bit of kind of buzz to it, didn't it?
mm,
And then as to the other winners in here, I mean, Final Fantasy VII, it goes without saying. Oh, it won Adventure Game of the Year. So what did this win? Action Game of the Year. There you
mm.
go. Okay, as I
But
say,
a lot of
that was a surprise.
N64 on here as well, which for
Too
how
right. This
people
was
think the
like I had
PlayStation
this.
dominated.
This was my kind of era, and I really felt like it was in full swing at this moment. WCW versus NWO World Tour, I absolutely loved that game. Played the absolute wheels off of it. Yeah,
Mm,
it had a better sequel, but at the time, that's all I knew, and I loved it. I think I played WCW NWO Revenge, which was like the full fat version, but World Tour I think was the OG. I learnt my craft on that game. So when I first got it home, I was annoyed I couldn't play it. I didn't know what to do. It was so I put it on easy and then just played it over and over again, looking at the buttons and working it out. Like, how do you play this game? Like, how do you do this? Like, punch, okay, that's punch, punch, punch. Hold it down. Oh, I held it down. You did a harder one. Okay, right, okay. Grapple. Oh, I just did a little, but why? I want to do a suplex. Hold it down and then do it. And I kind of learnt it with this aggression of like, hold it down and then do the move. And it kind of all felt much more because the comparison was you were playing games like WWF, and this is what bugged me because I loved the WWF or WWE at the time. Attitude was like Mortal Kombat. When you went to put someone in a headlock, it was like down, left, right, up, down, left, right, circle X, bam, and it was like that's not how you do a DDT. Whereas this really felt like you were kind of more connected to it, felt more visceral. It was
Mm.
quicker, easier to play, admittedly, but still great. Diddy Kong Racing I railed on a little bit just because it was like I see it everywhere. It doesn't mean it's not a great game. It's just sick of people talking about it.
Another rare
You
game as well.
oh they carried the N64 like an absolute
Yeah.
brute, dude.
Perfect Dark, didn't they? Golden
Perfect
Eye.
Dark, GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie 1 and 2, Jet Force Gemini, one of my
Oh
absolute
God, yeah, they done that,
absolute
didn't they?
favorites. Yeah. I'm sure there's a couple more that I've forgotten.
Oh, God, they did, didn't they? They
They
must
were
have had.
beasts. And
Yeah.
you knew when you saw that logo, Donkey Kong 64, how dare I forget?
Mm,
As soon as you saw that logo
mm.
fire up, you knew whatever it was going to be good.
You see why Microsoft bought them, can't you?
You can understand it.
Mm.
They kind of got their wings clipped in the GameCube era, so kind of Microsoft kind of bought a bit of a flagless dog, but
Because there was a bit of a
whatever.
rumor at the time they actually tried to buy Nintendo, didn't they?
That's been proven to be a true story, has it not?
Yeah, I think so. So whether that was because that didn't go through and then they bought Rare instead, as if to say, right, well, we can't buy you, we'll have your best studio. But you never know. But yeah,
Yeah, they're about done anyway, guys. Take them.
yeah, yeah. We just absolutely worked them to the bone on the
Yeah, but make
N64.
sure you pay as much as you can. Yeah, real stumble on it. Yeah, choke on it. Yeah, chew it.
But yeah, that was interesting to see what games are winning at the time. And when I was reading this, I was thinking, wow, you had Final Fantasy VII PlayStation obviously was going to get the
That
adventure
feels
game.
out of time. That doesn't feel, in my mind, that doesn't exist in the same sort of time ecosystem as GoldenEye.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
I don't know
weird.
why. I don't know why. Just kind of feels like they're kind of little. They should be more separated in
Yeah.
time than that. But
But then
hey,
you had obviously your WCW, NWO. Was that multi-format? Was that just N64?
that was just on
So that
N64.
was
Yeah,
N64 fighting game. You had Diddy Kong Racing N64. International
yeah.
Soccer was on different consoles, but N64 had a port of that.
It
Parappa
was
Rapper
best on
was,
N64, by the way.
yeah,
It was. Not
yeah.
forgetting it had like Nintendo roots. It kind of has that kind of hint to it.
Yeah, there's certain bits they're different games, but they're not. There's certain things I like. That you had the bigger sprites, not sprites, bigger polygons, bigger characters on the N64. The indoor when you can play indoors, really good fun on that. Clunky, but it makes it fun being clunky. Then the PlayStation version was a bit different, but it seemed to be the outdoor game is better. So they done different things in different ways, but it was definitely a good game to play on the N64, without a doubt.
Definitely.
Parappa the Rapper, that was PlayStation.
Yeah.
For
And
achievement sound and
deservedly
music.
so. I mean, that is a mouthful. Outstanding achievement in sound and music and outstanding achievement in interactive design. I guess that's two awards, and quite rightly wins both of them.
Yeah,
Very fair. And Shigeru Miyamoto in there at the end,
yeah,
picking up the Hall of Fame award, which I
yeah.
think is quite an early recognition nod to him, to be fair.
Definitely, yeah.
Um,
And proves how long
so
he had been working doing the games at the time. It's
definitely.
unbelievable. Yeah, but what a lineup of games, and you could really see at this point, although yes, N64 didn't have nowhere near the exclusives that the PlayStation did. They didn't have nowhere near the games the PlayStation did, but they were really fighting here. 98 picking up awards. They were going toe to toe with PlayStation.
M Mate, what is this next bit of news?
Huh?
What is this?
Have we finished with the last one then?
I just like thought, well, is there any more? Oh, hang on. Well, letter of the month. What? Which bit are you reading? Which bit are we doing? Is it letter of the month?
Is letter of the month. I've added this in as something a little bit different because I found it quite interesting because of what people thought at the time and the comparison between the consoles and going from the
This
awards ceremony to see what the actual game was for.
this
Um,
is great because I've said to you before, there's these isolated moments in time. We look back and we say, oh yeah, this is how it was. N64 was great at PlayStation. Yeah. But in that moment, when you
exactly,
didn't
yeah.
know about the future, things felt like your console's about to go in the bin. It's a
Mm.
weird time.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
weird time.
and and going from them awards where you could really, if you actually look at them awards, Ben 64 probably owned them awards over the PlayStation,
Yeah.
which was quite surprising for the time. And then I saw this letter and thought I've got to put it in. So this was their letter of the month, and this was titled "So What You Want." It says, "Every day I hear about the big
Oh
debate
mate,
over
no, you got to tell people who wrote it in first.
what I can't even read that leaky." League Leaky P1 PE at AOL.com. There you go. Rip this letter in. Leaky PP.
Leaky pipe. Could be a plumber. You
Yeah,
didn't have
could
to
be.
take it down that road.
Well, I thought I would. Um, so what do you want? Every day I hear about the big debate over which system is better. Is it the PlayStation or Nintendo 64? Well, in the game business today, somehow or another, a 32-bit CD-based system thrives and is dominating its competition. And it isn't the best system out there when you're talking about specs.
Mhm.
How is this possible? How can a less superior system be dominating over a 64-bit system? I'll tell you why. Marketing. Sony and its associates took the knowledge they have about marketing and jumped into the video game business and took over. This should be a message to Sega when they introduce their new system. They should take some pointers from Sony, or else their system will fall even before it comes out. But if you consider the history of Sega, the system is already doomed, in my opinion. They may have a bigger and better system coming out, but will people actually buy it? When it does finally come out, the PlayStation and N64 will have taken a firm grip on the market. Why would people go out to buy something that they think in the back of their minds will fail? So, Sega, if you really want to succeed with Dreamcast, think about what the people want, then make the logical steps to please them. Don't take this new system and do what you want because what you want isn't necessarily what the people want. Do you want to read the reply from EVGM?
What is this? Is this in a magazine or a website?
This is in EVGM.
How much does this feel like an official Xbox thing with that colouring?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, 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 it does. Yeah, it was just green because it was letter of the month. They just make the green from the
It's
letter of the
good though,
month.
isn't it? And then that pad down in the bottom, that
Yeah,
Barracuda PS controller almost
yeah,
looks like a Xbox 360
it
pad.
does. It does. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what universe I've woken up in. Here's the reply. Is this by anyone? Oh, they've not signed off, so Leaky Pipe didn't get anyone's name to this, but here we go. Let's hope Sega's learned a lesson from its previous three not so successes, Sega CD, 32X, and Saturn. From listening to Sega of America's president and CEO Bernie Slater, Stella, we feel fairly but not completely confident the Dreamcast won't suffer the same fate as the last three Sega machines. But as always, only time will tell. He recognizes that Sega has made big mistakes in the past and he knows that Dreamcast might be the company's saving grace and last hope. Hey, Bernie even admitted that RPGs are an important part of Sega's game plan. It's not a sign of a new attitude at Sega's helm. What is?
Mm. And now I found this interesting because this leaky pipe had almost predicted this. He almost knew this was coming out to fail, whereas the magazine were like, "Well, no, hold on. We've spoken to the CEO. We think it's going to be all right." He sort of said,
I wanna say that by the time I knew the Dreamcast was coming out and I'd seen the edge of the marketing, it wasn't quite here yet. It wasn't quite tickling us over on the shores. I remember going into New Year 1999 playing Donkey Kong 64, enjoying it, but feeling like I was missing out, but knowing like a PlayStation wasn't going to cut it. Then this Sega thing turned up, and I have to say, at the beginning, there was a lot of hope, and there were a lot of proud Dreamcast owners buying games. I mean, it took off like an absolute storm, but then it
Mm,
got dropped like a hot stone.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
it was destiny fulfilled, but nearly not quite. You know, Sega
But I think
did
they
give
had
it one last go,
problems.
didn't they?
They had problems, I think, with stock as well, didn't they? Because I think it actually took off a lot better than what they thought in the
Oh, a
early
lot better.
stages, and
Yeah.
you just couldn't get one. And so they could have even been, and that could have been a saving grace if the stock was there, but they just didn't have the stock from launch. And yeah, it's very odd. And like old Leaky was saying on there, I was thinking, he was saying about the 64-bit system. Obviously, we done the awards and they were clean up in them awards, but obviously for games on the system and variety and console sales, I mean, the PlayStation just smashed it. And he
Well,
is
that's one
correct.
thing I would say. I had an N64, so I sat outside the PS1 at this time. So I had one when it first came out, sold it, got an N64, was always looking over at the games with the FMV and the music was better and the textures looked a bit nicer. And
Mm.
yeah, the worlds weren't as big, but PlayStation kind of, is it better? I don't know.
But
But then you'd like
this,
play Ocarina of Time, and you're like, no, this is not on there. You got nothing like this. Got nothing like this. So okay, stay where you are. Gran Turismo 2. Oh, God, I want that game. Now later on, I got a PS1 as well, again,
yeah.
slim version. But yeah, there was always times as an N64 owner, if you didn't have both systems, where you were looking over thinking, oh crikey, I wish I had that.
And I think this letter says to me, this was the end of the bit wars. This is when bit wars died. It was always 16-bit, 32-bit, 64. Once you got the PS2, original Xbox, no one's really talking about bits anymore. That wasn't
It'd be,
about that. It
yeah.
was it was
Imagine if it
more,
still was now.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, my PS4 is 32,000 bits. So what's your
Like so many billion though, wouldn't it? I think
yeah,
compared in
and this was
reality.
sort of the end of it because people realised you can shout you've got as many bits as you want. It doesn't necessarily make a better system. There's certain
Yeah, well, we
games.
saw some. I think we started to see the false dawns come true, didn't we? Because we had the Amiga CD 32 from memory, but it wasn't really, was it? And
No,
we had the Jaguar that professed to be 64, and it definitely didn't do anything that looked even mildly impressive. So we'd had these false starts before. So the N64 came along, sticking itself in that like top dog wheelhouse. Now, don't forget, before all this happened, we had all the Project Reality hype, all the talk of it using the same silicon graphics engine as the Jurassic Park. There was all this talk about how powerful it was going to be. As a game, if you get told, especially if you're a teenager, the next Nintendo console is basically going to be using the same tech inside as the silicon graphics machine that they made Jurassic Park with. Oh, where's your mind go? Tell me where your mind goes when you get told that.
mm, yeah, yeah,
What do
I
you think
know.
that's going to look like?
Yeah, it's
Now,
abs.
Mario 64 is absolutely incredible, but I tell you what,
Yeah,
that ain't the Raptors from Jurassic Park, pal. It's not even close.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
And
there was a disappointment level for some of us immediately.
it was, and also I think companies started to realise um, PlayStation were probably a bit more on the ball. They realised you didn't need to go to 64 bits. They could make 64 bits. Nintendo made 64 bits. Atari sort of did on paper. But if you haven't got the developers that can make these games, you're not going to have them. Atari just had 16-bit ports slapped on CDs. Amiga CD was just Amiga games on CDs. There was no 32-bit on them. Whereas Sony thought, well, hang on, we've got the tech here to do 32-bit games. We'll keep it 32-bit. Keep CD, get the sound, get the audio in, get the soundtracks. Nintendo stayed with cartridge, went 64 bits, but just having 64 bits without all the rest of it necessarily doesn't make the games better. You still had that sort of Vaseline look. You had cleaner looks on some
Definitely.
games, but it sort of, like I say, the bit wars were then right. They're done now. Do you know what I mean? I remember early Dreamcast. They were saying it was 128 bits, weren't they?
They did,
Dreamcast
yeah, they did.
and PS2 was as well, I think. But
The
other than that,
PS2
you didn't
came in
really
on the
hear
back
that.
end of that.
Yeah, it wasn't splashed all over the consoles. It wasn't. used as a selling tool anymore. The bits, it was more about, Sony went down that FMV and original CD soundtracks and stuff, and that's what sold it for them. And yeah, so I think old Leaky Pipe was quite clued up there. I think he could see where the future was going, and it is a
Well, I
shame
tell you what,
because
if he was clutching his bookie ticket, he wasn't punching the air to start with. He was a bit like, oh, what, Dreamcast success? Oh, 18 months later, hey, down the bookies, happy
yeah,
days.
I'm glad I bought them 20 copies of VGM. But yeah, they were the news. I've got one more bit to add in. I thought was quite interesting in this magazine. But obviously we covered obviously Lara Croft and sort of the early days of video games coming over to movies. I know we'd had Mario Bros and things like that, but yeah, that was that trying to cash in as games got more popular. We had the awards, obviously, with N64 doing very well and Rare especially. And then we had that letter of the month, which I thought was quite very observant from our old mate Leaky Pipe there at AOL.com. Send him an
Very
email.
true.
But what we're at on at the end here, I saw obviously this is September issue 1998 of EVG. They also had the top 20 best-selling games of this
There's
was of
so
May.
much good stuff on this one
Yeah.
page,
So
RGT. It's
this
literally blowing my mind.
this is of they obviously do it every few months. So this was from May. I'll just read the list from 20 to 1 of the top.
Can we do one each?
Yeah, we'll take in turns and we'll do it from 20 back to 1. This is a list of games, to be fair. But I'll start. I'll go with number 20 coming in there was Twisted Metal by Sony.
Coming in at 19, down 5 this week, we've got WCW versus NWO World Tour on N64. Who's next, RGT?
We've got flying in at 18. We've got WCW Nitro by THQ.
We've got last week's number 12, this week's 17. It's a tumble down for Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation.
Next come roaring in at 16. We've got Rampage World Tour, drop down 6 places from 10 by Midway. This is amazing.
You like it? I've lost my place.
15.
Speeding up the tracks but losing 2 places this week. And at 15, Mario Kart 64.
Dropping 6 places to 14th as Resident Evil 2 by Capcom.
In at 13, the charts hard trier Super Mario 64 sticking around, down 2 from 11.
Roaring in at 12, we've got Breath of Fire 3 by Capcom, and that's a new entry.
Riding in on 11 but slipping down a pole, Yoshi's Story on N64 was last week's number 5.
Tomb Raider, the one with the movie coming out by Eidos, is in number 10, dropped 3 places from 7. Let's hope the movie gets them back up the charts.
Swinging for the big leagues at 9, it's MLB 99 on PlayStation by Sony. Climbing the charts up from 16, Bada Bada Bing.
Ooh. Triple Play 99 by Electronic Arts has fallen 4 places from 4 down to 8.
No entry. Climbing up the charts on its back of the MLB 99 by Sony, we've got MLB featuring Kenny Griffey Jr. on the N64.
Staying just exactly where it is, holding its own. Number 6 is GoldenEye 007 from Nintendo.
Need for Speed in at 5. Number 2, Hot Pursuit, down 2 from 3.
Rising up from 20 to 4th place, Boom Shakalaka, that's Cody Bryant in NBA courtside on Nintendo.
Disappointment at the mountainside as this week's number 3, 1080 Snowboarding on the N64, has slipped down from number 1.
New entry. Number 2, Gran Turismo by Sony Computer Entertainment, although EVGM has actually put a Saturn symbol next to that. It wasn't on there, fellas, it was PlayStation. But number 2, and it's a new entry.
Which means there can be only one, and it's Tekken 3 on PlayStation 1. Last week's number 2, this week's champion. Congratulations.
Now, that was the of
You
May.
didn't think that was going to happen, did you?
No, and also the you know, as the games as well. It's
Are
just
you going to put some music to that in the edit?
I'll see what I can do if I get time. I will.
You need
Uh,
to.
but I found this interesting because the only Saturn title that was in there, they've accidentally put as Gran Turismo. Other than that, there was no Saturn games in there. That went from one down to 20. Went PlayStation, PlayStation, N64, N64, PlayStation, N64, N64, PlayStation, PlayStation, PlayStation.
No,
just dominated. You
totally
know,
dead. It's a shame, really.
yeah. But I
Um,
mean, some games there. I mean, Crash Bandicoot. I mean, Rampage World Tour surprised me. That was in there. I mean, that was obviously a popular game. I mean, that's not a bad game. It's just the Rampage.
Resi 2, I mean, there's just so much. Pretty much every game we read out, or every other game we read out, was one that you'd want in your collection of those respective systems for sure.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
Tekken
Most
3 was a
collectors.
banger, Gran Turismo was a banger, so if you've got a PlayStation 1, you probably need to have those two games at least. 1080 snowboarding, I profess to really like that game, so I think
Yeah,
if you've got an N64, you need that. Kobe Bryant, I think, yeah, it's
that's a
probably not aged
surprise
that
one, I
well.
suppose. And the triple play 99 was quite a surprise one.
That is an
Um,
interesting one. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit obviously doesn't surprise me. It's always going to be big, but that's one you can avoid having in your collection. But GoldenEye 007 is one for the ages. MLB featuring Kenny Griffey on the N64, I think he's one for the bargain bin. MLB 99 is nothing more than a curio. Tomb Raider's one for the ages, though, right?
mm,
Yoshi's Story, as far as I remember on N64, is set in a pop-up book. I think that's a real nice looking thing. Breath of Fire 3, I think from memory, if my eyes can read that. That's one game for all time.
mm.
Mario 64 obviously is. Resi 2. Mario Kart, I know you kicked it on the way in, but it's a worthy
Oh,
game.
no, no, he's a brilliant game. Yeah, he's definitely a brilliant game.
Rampage World Tour, I think, is a fun game on the N64 and a
Mm.
fun game to have in your sort of travel pack, I suppose.
I think I've got the next one of that on the PS2. They done a PS2 Rampage, didn't they? But
Mm.
quite good fun, for a bit of a game night with friends.
Crash Bandicoot, you got to have in your PS1 collection. I think that's why the price just keeps
Yes.
edging up on that. It shouldn't do,
Yeah.
but it does, especially if you want the double box version. WCW Nitro on the PlayStation 1 is probably one for the bin, but WCW versus NWO World Tour, I think if you've got any sort of wrestling nostalgia at all, that might tickle your nodes.
Mm.
And then Twisted Metal, like mileage may vary on that as time hasn't been kind to it in some regards, but definitely one that you'd want in your collection as a curio, if nothing else. So it's a pretty stacked month, really.
Yeah, it was, and obviously, this was from May. I know this is September's issue, but they were just showing what the best games were, as they calculated the figures. But I mean, there was something for everyone. You had racing, you had fighting, you had basketball. You had first person shooters, Tomb Raider. With adventures, you had RPGs. I mean, there's so much on there. I mean, we weren't short of picking games at the time, were we? In
Mate,
1998.
and just to add a bit of kudos to the the buyers of the time, they've added their review scores in for each of these games in the top five. So Tekken was probably an average of 9.5 or 9.9, you could argue, depending on the average of these four aggregate scores from the four different reviewers. Gran Turismo is probably looking at an aggregate of what, 93?
Yeah.
Um, 1080 snowboarding's been pulled down a bit to maybe 8.9 or 9.2. Um, Kobe Bryant sort of surprised me with the score it picked up. It's probably going
Mm.
to end up scoring something like 8.2 as a combined score Metacritic there. And then Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit probably end it with a little bit slightly more, probably an 8 point, maybe an 8.2 again.
Mm.
So these reviews aren't even bad reviews for the game. Why isn't it just people who just bought them up because of the next iteration or the next game from Nintendo or Namco or whatever? These are games that have come, they've reviewed well, and they've gone to the top of the charts for that bloody reason.
I mean, yeah, Tekken 3. I mean, obviously, Gran Turismo was a new entry then. I would imagine as the weeks went on, Gran Turismo sat quite proudly at number one there. But Tekken 3, I mean, the four guys who scored in EVG was 10, 10, 10, and 9.5. I mean,
Unreal.
uh, three of them were like a perfect game and a near perfect. I mean, even Gran Turismo was a 9.5, 9.5, 9, and 9. But that doesn't surprise me because that game
I
was
always have a
way
bit of an
ahead.
issue with a 10. It's like stop. No other game ever needs to be made or anything ever again because this is the perfect game.
I know what you mean because it,
Like I can see a 9.9 and be like, I see what you're doing there. I see a 10. It's like bloody hell,
that's got to be
really?
flawless, and them judges as well. I expect they must have at one point gone, "Oh, I wish that weren't like that." Well, that's not a 10 then. Even if it's just a menu
Absolutely.
sound, even if it's just a menu sound, it's not a 10. You need a clean across the
Even if
board.
at one point you go like, that ain't a 10.
Hmm. Yeah.
Is it? I don't know. Maybe it is. Games
Hmm.
are a bit frustrating at times. Anyway, um, want to round out that last little section. They're talking about the most wanted games.
Uh-huh.
There's a pie chart here because everyone does a pie chart RGT, and we can see the various different color gradings here. So I think the most wanted game, according to this chart, by 32% of the 100 people that they presumably asked, or however many they were divided up by that to get to this percentage. The next most wanted game is Metal Gear Solid with 18% of the vote. Then we have,
So it was Zelda, wasn't it? Ocarina of Time was number one, wasn't
yeah,
it?
two was Metal Gear Solid. Bits been cut off, I think, which is a shame. So there was another couple, but we've got five is Tomorrow Never Dies, which is either the N64 or the PS1, which is,
Hmm.
people shouldn't be left alone. And then the
Chip
sixth
Rock.
most popular game is Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, which is barely playable, I think, without the
Yeah.
expansion pack on
Yeah.
N64. So what an absolutely diabolical.
I think people who voted for these were quite disappointed when these games did show up. Either that or they had really good marketing and
I
just
mean, Ocarina of Time, yes, I'm stoked. Metal Gear Solid, I'm buzzing. I don't know what three and four are. Probably FIFA and ISS, but five is Tomorrow Never Dies. That was a shame when that one turned up. I should imagine. Although, have you played it? Because it's not terrible as Bond games
not for a
go.
lot of
It's not
years.
going to
Not for a
poke your
lot of
eye out
years.
and make you feel like you've been robbed. Well, partially.
Just poke one eye out.
Yeah, it's just going to probably wipe something on you. Okay,
Yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed it. Something a little bit different attack on the end of the news
loved
there,
it.
and just to
You're not
see.
asking me, are you?
Huh?
You're asking them, the listener.
I'm asking everybody. Um, but yeah, so that's just nice to see what was popular, what was selling, what people thought of the charts, what they were rated at, and yeah, a lot of games there. Quite interesting stories as well from the time. But it's now time for what we affectionately call Stingray's Boot. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy of Battle for Endor is some of the new releases for October 1998. Ooh, there's a few here. Well, I think what we'll pick a couple out each and then we'll do some honourable mentions. I think I'm going to have to go with Gauntlet Legends because that is a great game. Great game on the N64 as well, PlayStation. Um, if you got four of you, I think there's four players on the N64 you can do. If you want to play through that, and if you played the Gauntlet games, similar premise, but this is 3D. You can play together and go through. Oh, I know why. Hang on. Spring Stop Stattle. Spring Stop Wattle. Whoa. Back to Gauntlet Legends. Uh, oh, actually, we need to do the Ray as well. Sorry, do the Ray. Come on, how you seeing the Ray?
You paid me big money for the Ray. Bring him out of retirement,
I obviously
put
didn't.
put him on Flashy B. No, you keep forgetting. How am I seeing the Ray? I tell you how I'm seeing it. It's 1998. I'm seeing him and Wayne come out as two members, unknown names to be, of Bewitched. They're singing C'est la vie.
Oh.
The boots popped open and they come out like a couple of can-can girls in the denim singing C'est la vie. Say you
Wow.
will, say you won't, say you do what you won't. You owe me for last week's DVD. C'est
Wow.
la vie.
Brilliant. You've practiced that. You've been waiting for this moment, and you've had that song written for years for this moment. Um, of
Absolutely.
For me, he's got out dressed as Lara Croft, but he's dressed
Oh,
as
mate.
yeah. He's dyed his hair, he's tied it back, he's even gone as the polygon Lara Croft though, so he's got triangle,
Oh,
yeah.
are they
Uh,
real?
They look like cardboard, but I'm not quite sure. The hot pants leave a lot to be desired. Um, and he's sort of just put some holes in a pair of wellies and pulled some laces through to make them look like they're sort of combat boots, but they haven't quite got the look because it looks like he's cut off some waders. But Little Wayne's come out as Chris Barry, the butler, but he's quite small, and he keeps dropping all the glasses. Um, but yeah, good effort there, Wayne. Obviously, he's Ray. Obviously, getting on the bandwagon and the movie coming out. So he's even sort of took pictures of himself and he's sellotaped them to old Lucasade bottles. So trying to sell them as Lara Croft Lucasade. So great work, great work. Um, we'll crack on to like I was just then talking about Gauntlet Legends. Sorry, I missed
No, I
those
want to
bits out.
talk to you about little Wayne for a minute. He's come dressed as Chris Barry. Does he look exactly like Chris Barry to you? Because obviously I'm looking at the Bewitched girls and I can't tell the difference.
He looks like Chris Barry, but when he was Ace Rimmer, so he's got a bit of a sort of a mousy
Well,
blonde.
how tall is he?
He's 2'3". So yeah, yeah, he's got a bit confused because he keeps saying, "Smoke me a kip, I'll be back for breakfast," but he's got the wrong show there. Um, anyway, Gauntlet Legends. Yes, if you haven't got Gauntlet Legends, I'd get that because I love that game. That's a brilliant game.
I had
Four
this on
player.
Dreamcast, did I?
That's probably the best port, I would imagine, in that Dreamcast. I
Yeah.
would have thought.
What else was it on N64, I think, wasn't it?
N64, yeah, yeah, great game. Was that? Did it get a PlayStation port? I think it might have got a PlayStation port
I
as well.
can't tell you actually. I tell you that's probably one of the only places where I've probably not played it.
Yeah, I thought it did, but I might be wrong. But yeah, great
Let's
game.
face it, if it didn't, it made no bank anywhere, did it?
No. So what else are you going to pick, George?
Um, I picked them earlier, didn't I? Now I can't find them because I can't get zoomed in enough. Oh, I'll tell you what I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the OG Metal Gear Solid. It's a game
Oof.
that,
Oh,
do you know what? It stands the test of time. It's
started
an
its own sort
app.
of genre, really, didn't it? And
It's it still holds up now. Um, no matter which version you play, GameCube or whatever. Obviously, the GameCube's slightly different, but it's probably is that the best place to play? Maybe. Um, Absolutely brilliant game, genre
mm,
defining. It didn't start his career, but it certainly got him even more recognition than he already had.
yeah,
And
definitely.
what an absolutely great game.
Yes, it
Um,
was on PlayStation Dreamcast as well. The Gauntlet
oh, it
Legends,
was. I thought
yeah.
so. And did it get an
Um,
N64 port? Because I remember Gauntlet being
yeah,
on
I've
there.
got it on the N64. That's the copy I've got. I think I might have the PlayStation one. I'm not sure, but
Same
um,
game as well. Unbelievable.
yeah. I will go next up then. I'm going to pick Medieval. What a
That's what
great
I was going
game.
to pick.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Medieval, great game. That obviously got a remaster on a PSP and then got a remake as well in the last few years, which I believe was probably PS4, Xbox One era. Community corrections on Unofficial Controller podcast if I've got that wrong. But yeah, what a great little sort of tongue-in-cheek Halloween sort of hack and slash platformer, really. I think it's quite unique, Medieval. You don't see many games like that nowadays. I mean, another one I was going to pick here. I've never played. I've seen quite a lot of it on YouTube and different people playing it, and that's that LSD Dream Simulator. I've never played it
Oh,
myself, but
mate,
I've
yeah, there's
seen
a lot
people
of talk
play.
about that.
Yeah, I've seen people play through it, and I mean, how or why or
Well, I don't think
absolute
it's something that you play through, is it? It's just like it's an experience, man.
is that. I mean, I think they were at the time. This was probably aimed at PlayStations and Wipeout and that were getting into you know, nightclubs and rave scenes and bits and pieces. So I think this was all sort of spinning off that sort of psychedelic time. But yeah, if you've not seen LSD
You had
Dream
this,
Sim,
did you?
no, I haven't had this. I've
I
seen
thought you'd
people.
bang this on for a couple of hours and go Dreamscape.
If I banged this on for a couple of hours, I wouldn't need to go to Dreamscape. Yeah, I'd be phoning the doctors rather quick, I think. But yeah, if you haven't
In
seen
the queue,
LSD
oh, look
Dreams,
at us, one of them LSD experience guys. Look at him, here he comes. Look at
yeah,
him.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, just load up YouTube and watch someone play it. It is random and weird, but it's an odd one. It is an odd one. What else are you going to pick in, George?
Um, there's a couple I'm gonna grab here just on the way out. So I'm being greedy, really, and get off Ray. I don't care. C'est la vie. I'm taking Fallout 2, the 3D
Mm.
isometric version of Fallout. I did have this for a little while on PC.
Oh, did you?
I did. Yeah, it was a hard game for me to work out, to be fair. But you
They were
know,
quite in depth at the time, weren't they? Those
oh,
PC
it
games.
was, yeah, it's proper big boys game. Um, I got it later than this, much later, but I still kind of found something in there to enjoy. But this is one of the problems where you're trying to install things on a work laptop. You know you shouldn't, and
Yeah,
it kind of doesn't work right. You know you need to kind of go in and hack it a bit to make it work, but you know that's not acceptable, and I'm not into that, as you know. So you're kind of googling things or whatever it would have been at the time. Ask Jeeves, and you're like, okay, maybe, no,
and you worry in case you break the works laptop. How did you
exactly. So
break
you
it? I was
have
trying to
to kind of, and then
upload
the first thing
Fallout
they do
2.
is turn it on, and it's like, what is? Oh God, I installed a game. Gee, why? I don't know.
You,
I had
you
nothing
click you click that
else.
page off, then you got a picture of Joe Guest.
Hey, mate, say three times in the show and she turns up.
Exactly, that's true. That's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Guest.
She can read the charts next week.
She's here
Um,
for. She's. Oh, I wish she was. Is she alive?
I would imagine so.
I'm allowed to be edgy. You're not, so you better Google that and send an apology and flowers to the family, the
I'm
estate.
just going to move on to some honourable mentions. I think we had we had games like the Beatinator, Beatmania, sorry, came out. I mean, I've got the accessory for that as well, quite mint in a box, Beatmania. So that was
Sorry, I
actually,
just absolutely uppercutted my mic stand.
I
So
did
if
see you
that.
do that. I think you've hurt your knuckle a bit because you're doing the little kiddie thing and putting your arm under your armpit just
Oh
to.
no, I'm doing that to make sure I don't. I was going to say a naughty word. Knock it again.
um, Yeah, so Beatmania was sort of them early sort of music making DJ sort of accessories for the PS1. Quite interested and gaming was trying different things
Yeah, I
then
bet
with
you've
the.
got this, haven't you?
I
Didn't it
have,
come with a
yeah.
little peripheral, little keyboard?
Yeah, I've got the big box of it. I got a mint box of it as well, and I just saw it and grabbed it because I thought
Ugh. Is it out on display or is it in the in the lockup?
it's in the lockup of shame, I think.
Mate, I don't see it like that. I see me cutting a hole in the roof of this lockup with an oxy acetylene and then like dropping in like Tom Cruise down down. Or knowing it's probably more like an episode of Hall to drop a face in straight away, straight into a face of dirty nappies and like the odd N64
I
loose
can assure
car.
there ain't none of them in there, but he's backlog of shame, I would say in there. It's a lot of stuff got to go. Stingray, put the seats down.
You've got some good treasure in there still.
Yeah, I've got some good stuff. A lot of it's going to go, but I have lots. I'll keep Beat Mania because it's really
Shotgun on B
unique.
mate. Oh,
Yeah, no, that's staying, unfortunately.
I've never
But
played it.
huh?
I've never played it. It's always been a curio to me.
Mm,
I always saw it more as like that DJ game that came out on PS3. What was
yeah,
that called?
and 360 DJ Hero, which is
Mm.
actually really good. It was like Rock Band, but with DJ decks. That is really good game because you can mix some great tracks together on that. That's
DJ,
really good.
wasn't there another one?
There's DJ Hero. There was a game that Rockstar done called Beat Mania on the no, not Beat Mania, Beatinator. Was that a rhythm game on PSP? Was that what you're thinking of? Or
Maybe. I
DJ
haven't got
Hero
that
was
actually.
DJ Hero's really good and actually done a revised sort of one for the that was PS2 and they done a revised one for PS3 as well.
That's what I'm thinking of. It is DJ Hero. I remember the box
Mm.
now. It looks, you know what? That was really cool.
It's really playable as well. The songs you can mix on there are so good together. That is so much fun. If you liked Guitar Hero and Rock Band, then yeah,
But
definitely.
Beatmania was not that, was it? So how did Beatmania work with the keyboard and all that? Or
Yeah,
have
I
you
think
never
it was
got it
sort of
out?
it was more of producing your own sort of songs, if I remember rightly, with the little
Am I
keyboard.
remembering it with a little keyboard
I
and what
think it had a
looked
little
like a little
keys. I'll have
little
to look this
circular
up.
thing that looked
I
like a
think
little
so.
jog wheel
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
something?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
always looked at it and thought that looks cool. I've no idea what it does.
Mm.
But that looks really cool. Looks
Mm.
like the sort of thing that you'd see someone in the corner of a bar playing in like Blade Runner.
It does. Yeah, it does as
Massive
well.
set of headphones like
Yeah, yeah. 2049, yeah, if he's
yeah,
on
it's exactly like
with
that.
a Beatmania deck. But we also had Test Drive 5 coming out. I mean, I forget
I
how
can't
many.
speak for that. Test Drive was dead to me by then. Hey, I
Yeah,
tell you, shout out. You want to give a shout out? I tell you what, was there's one here that you could give a shout out to. It's Grim Fandango, my old
yeah,
fruit
Grim
bat.
Fandango, yeah.
You like that?
Oh,
What's
yeah.
this?
Also, Xenogears. I mean, obviously, quite a popular RPG series, JRPG series.
Apocalypse, Bruce Willis, a tie into the film. Think that might be trash, but please let me know if it's not.
Actra
Um,
Golf 3.
yeah, that's the other one. I was scanning all over it.
Mm. Would imagine that probably died a death after that because Tiger Woods was out and
It,
uh,
I do believe Actual Golf was the game that kept suffering from ever declining review scores, even though they kept adding more things to the game. Like the
mm,
quality of the game by the time you get to Actual Golf 3 is 100% better than the game that you played in Actual Golf 1.
mm.
There's more commentary, the graphics are improved. I think there's more gameplay, there's a little bit more structure to what you can do within the game. But I do remember the scores going from like Actual Golf maybe getting 70, 80, maybe early 90s, Actual Golf 2 maybe getting the same but a little bit less really across the board. I think Actual Golf 3 ended up getting like a really garbage score, RGT, if memory serves.
Wouldn't surprise me. I think you're right. I think I remember seeing it with the old sort of 38% or something badly slapped across the magazine
I think
review, I think.
I think who was it, Gremlin?
I believe it was actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were maybe struggling a little bit by this time. I mean, they came out of the era, the transition between 16 to 32 bit. They came out strong.
Mm,
Actua Soccer was probably one of the only football games worth its weight, and it played a good game of soccer. Actua Soccer, if you
mm,
remember,
yeah.
I had that in the early days and actually thought it to be pretty impressive. Actua Golf was the swing for the stars. That was the money shot. That was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it received an average of 70%, actually. Same as Extra Golf 2.
And what did
Uh,
one get?
Extra Golf 1. Oh, it doesn't say the scores on here.
I think
Anyway.
that reviewed well because it was early days and it was a bloody impressive showcase for the console that was.
Um, Computer and video games gave it 5 out of 5.
That's what I'm saying to you, brother.
Yeah, 7 out of 10, 5 points. GameSpot only gave it 5.7 out of 10, but it's an 8 out of 10, 92%, 90%. So it's got some good scores there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And I'd have
so
been reading the sort of local jokel paper mags at the time, so they would have reviewed that really well.
mm, yeah, I think you're right. I would have done.
What
Yeah,
movie are you
so
going to grab off, Ray?
I am going to go with this film, I think came out in the September as well. I've picked it because a few years ago I watched a series, the first two seasons of the series, and I really enjoyed it. And that is the film of Babylon 5 in the beginning, which is a prequel to the series that was quite popular. I think they've done 5 series in the end. So I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. I'd like to go back and watch Babylon 5 again. That was really good. So this is a prequel to lead into the series. So yeah, I'm going to go with Babylon 5 in the beginning.
Ah, okay. I'm picking a song that's very firmly rooted in 1998. In fact,
A song?
a movie, sorry, but I need to talk about this through the medium of two songs. It's a tale of two
Wow.
stories. Okay. Now, one of them for the film Godzilla, Going Deeper Underground by Jamiroquai, is
Mm-hmm.
still an absolute classic, a banger.
Mm-hmm.
But I also would argue, unfortunately for Godzilla, that Sean Diddy Coombs's Come With Me is equally as a strong tune.
I'd
To the
rather you went with Jamiroquai if you don't mind, but
down, 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 down. Come with me, down, 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 down. I'm going deeper underground. There's too much panic in this town. I think that movie with
if
those
you are
two
still listening,
songs.
this is flashback, by the way.
Oh mate,
Uh,
we're getting in the moment of '98. I got as soon
you're
as
in
I
it.
saw Godzilla on there, I was like, oh, I can't wait.
Mm.
This film is so cool. The I know it bombed. And no one really likes it, but I've got a soft spot for this movie, and I'll stick it on a Sunday afternoon
I've
and just
never
sit
watched a
back.
Godzilla movie. It's never interested me whatsoever.
If you want to get into the lore and the true origins of Godzilla and be respectful to the OG source material, do not watch this film.
Oh,
It's
I
from
thought
that
you were about to
lens.
say watch this, but
Through
no.
that lens, this is absolutely diabolical. It's a disgrace. But on its own, Sunday afternoon, raining outside, nothing better to do. Stick my feet up on the puff or whatever it is, the coffee table, the thingy, right? Kick back and watch Godzilla. It's got that Independence Day energy, RGT.
Mm,
But it's a monster movie, but it plays it in that way, with the big buildings coming down, super
mm,
realistic, loads of carnage on the ground. Obviously predates 9/11 as well, so there's a lot of like weird New York iconography going and getting
mm,
absolutely decimated by this creature. So that's got a bit of a weird vibe to it as well.
mm.
But yeah, get in on it. It's great. Jean Reno as well, so
Brilliant. Well, some good film choices there, some good games that we would have been playing as well. Before we go, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget to check out our website, which is
mhm.
unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. I noticed the traffic was getting down a little bit on that, so go and give it a look. There's loads on there. There's hidden gems, there's challenge
So
accepted,
much.
there's flashbacks on there, bits and pieces of everything.
It's
Um,
definitely worth a weekly check-in.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely from the different changes and bits are adding to it. And I mean, there's even going to be the few of us went to, as I spoke about before, we went to the Bristol Games Expo. There's going to be a little gallery of that on there as well, and
oh
photos
wow,
we took.
okay.
Yeah, so we'll update as
Well,
we
there'll
do these
also
events.
be a transcription of this show, so you'll be able to go
Yeah,
back and literally copy and paste the bit where I said about P. Diddy. So awesome.
marvelous. Um,
Made the lawsuit easy.
yeah, didn't just. Also, if you think there's anything we've missed or you want to contact us, you can do it through our fan mail on the Buzzsprout that we use, but you could also
Yes.
email us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. So if
But
there's
if you do
anything,
use Buzzsprout Mail, please do if you want to get
yes,
shouted out on the show. You don't have to. It is meant to be anonymous, but if you do want to shout on the show and that recognition, you're gonna have to put hyphen in your name.
yes,
Okay.
because they do it as just a way of you communicate with us and then we relay it on the show, but there's no names or anything tied to that. So if you'd like to shout out, yeah, add your name on and we'll give
Or
you a
if you
shout on
don't,
it.
don't
Yeah,
put it on there.
exactly. Exactly. Also got our Discord, which is the Unofficial Controller Podcast Discord. And there is a section on there for flashback as well. But there's everything on there. For like I said, we're doing GoldenEye Challenge this month. We've just been doing a playthrough on our Gen 7 playthrough, which is RGT back in the past of Remember Me, the Generation 7 Capcom game that everyone
How are you
seems
getting
to have
on with
forgotten
that?
about. I've finished it. Yeah, I've completed it. So finished it last week.
What do you
Uh,
think of the ending?
I enjoyed the ending. I thought that was good. I thought it was I said this on our Discord, done a little mini review at the end, and I said I really enjoyed the game. It had many different genres in there, from Uncharted with the climb and to the combat, which was very time-based, sort of Arkham Knight, Spider-Man sort of combat. There was all
You
load.
have to build your own combos, don't you? Which
You
I felt a
do.
bit restrictive.
In the end, I done. Sorry, it's
Kick, kick,
probably
kick, kick,
that's
kick.
no, no, no. I done. So I built a combo for health and a combo to get the warm down, the cool down done quicker. So I
Yes,
do one
I think
combo to
that's
build
what
my
I
health
did.
up and one and just alternate. But very unique game. Graphically, very, very good. I'm lucky because I've got a TV that upscales it anyway, but it looked superb. Really did look superb for that generation. But a unique game. It just wasn't quite there. It was a good solid 7 out of 10 game.
There's
It was
something with that game that bugs the living daylights out of me with the control inputs. I don't know if it's
yes,
frame rate, I don't know if it's controller or what, but half the
yeah,
time it feels you're playing it like not visually. It feels like you're playing it through a fish tank,
yeah.
or
I mean,
or you're
it's
playing through porridge.
sort of two bosses from the end absolutely brutal. I had about 20 goes, couldn't do it, turned it off, went back the next day, second attempt, I managed to do it. But then you get to the end boss and breeze through first time. So it was a bit
Hmm.
unbalanced. But
I didn't.
um,
I think I did. I can't remember now. It's been a while since I played it, but I think I struggled with the last boss a little bit.
there was supposed to be a second game out in 2015, but it got cancelled.
Quite right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, unique game. So anyway, if you like anything like that, we're playing, like I say, Generation 7
Wasn't done
playthrough.
for that for me. He didn't have the legs to carry a sequel. You would have cared.
No, it's just a little curio that Capcom made, which is quite interesting, different sort of
Well, they didn't
stories,
make it
different
though. Who
worlds.
did make it?
I did know. I can't remember. I did put it on there. They were publishers, weren't they? Capcom, but they were
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now. It's a publisher that we know of
yeah.
that we've talked about other games of
But
theirs.
if you like the sound of that and you want to join in, we vote on a game once everyone's finished it. We'll have a vote. We put four up. Me and Zangief on there. We put four up and we have a vote, and whatever wins, we play through and chat about it together. And then we've got challenge accepted, the GoldenEye challenge. We've got everything else on there that we chat about and bits and pieces we do.
It's
Digital
by
Monkery
Don't
also.
Nod who do Life is Strange.
That's it. Yes. Because because that got cancelled, they went on and done the sequel for Life is Strange instead.
Interesting.
Yeah. Um, so yes, so DM also does the weekly quiz as well. Let's get quizzical. So you can have a little go on a quiz on there once a
That's
week, which
good.
is great fun as well. So there's plenty to do on there. Come and join us on our
And
Discord. If
that's
you're up
no stress as well. That's just you versus yourself.
yeah, exactly. You just uncover the answers as you go down and see how you do.
It's really
Um,
cool, and I love that. You
that's
know,
brilliant.
I've been those quiz. I'm not too big on quizzes. I always get nervous and put the wrong answer, even though
Yeah,
I know what it is. But this is just chill. It's like, get up, let's
yeah,
have a look, let's get quizzical, no
brilliant.
stressing. Oh, yeah, I did know that. Oh, bloody hell, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
You know, it's a nice little fact dump. I love
yeah.
it. More of them. More.
Yeah, and if you want a link, you would say an email us. We can give you the link to the Discord, or if you check out
Do
our
I sing
unofficial
Let's Get Quizzical here or on the main show?
main show. Um, I'll nip that in the bud. If you want a link as well, if you go to Unofficial Controller Podcast Instagram, there's a link tree there. Do that, or you can go to Retro Gamer Thomas, which is mine. There's a link tree on there to join. Or like I say, if you're not on Instagram or anything like that, just email us. We'll ping you a link over.
We'll make
Um,
that work.
yeah, but thanks for listening again. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for all the positive feedback. I hope you're enjoying the show because we're enjoying doing it. We're enjoying researching it. We're enjoying the nostalgia trip that we're doing with this. It's great fun and we want to keep doing it. So let us know. Give us a little review. Give us a like. Give us a download. It all helps for the algorithm and keep us going and keep make it worthwhile doing it. So yeah, thanks again. Thanks, George, for
Well,
joining me
thank
as
you to
always.
you, and thank you, as you say, to everyone that's listening. And I love recording these flashbacks. It's a nice
Mm,
change of pace.
yeah.
If you're hearing this now, we're a little bit late. That's my bad. Sorry. Back to normal from next week.
Yes, yes. So that's just when you're just a few hours late. So it's that same day, but yes, just a little bit late. That's all. But yeah. So thank you all. Thanks, George, and I will see you next week.
Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Took my